Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing no contact magic moments. I provide audio and email coaching to help people try and get their ex back or get a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Check out my website for more details, www.dateme.tips. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing no contact magic moments. So this podcast is in reference to the no contact rule, which is something people suggest you implement if you've been dumped and you want to try to get your ex back. There are many different versions of a no contact rule that you can find online, and I believe that my version will give you the best possible chance of trying to get your ex back. So I suggest that you subscribe to my podcasts so that you can familiarize yourself with my version of a no contact rule. So if you implement no contact and you start the process, you will understand that it is a grind, it is a struggle, and that it's certainly not easy. But there are certain moments down the line which can feel magical. There are almost magical markers that you will feel that you are making real progress on your journey to happiness. And so in today's podcast, I thought I would go through 3 magic moments that you will experience whilst implementing my version of the no contact rule. So let's get straight into this. And number 1 is waking up feeling okay. So this is certainly a big milestone, because after you've been dumped, you will often be dreaming about the breakup. You will often be waking up and instantly feeling upset. And that is obviously very difficult to cope with during this period of your recovery. But there is a magic moment where one day you will wake up and you will be feeling okay. You won't be feeling fantastic. You won't have forgotten what has actually taken place previously, but you will wake up and you will actually feel okay. Now, that doesn't mean that further along in that day, during that day, you won't be feeling upset. Quite possibly, you will feel upset during the early stages in particular, every single day. And that is just the reality of the situation. But one day you will feel that magic moment of where you wake up and you actually feel okay. You're not over the moon. You're not feeling ecstatic, but you're just feeling okay. You've woke up and you think to yourself, you know what? I remember what's happened. It's not like I've forgotten the breakup. It's not like I've forgotten the pain. And, as I've just said, as you go through the day, and you feel the triggers and the emotion gets to you will likely feel very, very sad once more. But at that initial moment when you woke up that day, you felt okay. And that is a big milestone. That is a magic moment. Because if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't yet got to that point, you will realize when it comes what a relief it is. All of a sudden, you wake up and you feel okay. You just think to yourself, okay, I'm not feeling amazing, but I'm going to get up, I'm going to have breakfast, and I'm going to move on with my day. And it almost feels a little bit strange. It almost feels a little bit like, why aren't I feeling terrible? Why aren't I waking up with tears in my eyes? Because that is possibly what you've been going through previous to this. But that is certainly the first magic moment, that one day you will wake up and you will just feel okay. So let's get into number 2. And number 2 is that you will feel excited about future plans. So when you're going through a breakup, you are often living in that moment and then also in the past. You are constantly thinking about your time together with your ex, and you're thinking in that exact moment about, okay, I need to be doing something. I need to try to get them back. What can I do? And you're constantly trying to reassure yourself that not contacting your ex is giving yourself the best opportunity. Hence, you're using my version of a no contact rule. But you are very rarely thinking about the future, even just very short into the future, even very short term. You're not even really thinking about in 2 days' time when your friend invited you to hang out with them. You're not even thinking about that, let alone for a few months' time when a friend or family member said to you, look, do you want to go out and do this? Do you want to go to this party? Do you want to go to this event? You're certainly not thinking that far into the future. You're barely thinking even short term into the future, even a couple of days. But one day you will start to feel excited about future plans. One day somebody will say to you, do you want to hang out in a few days? Do you want to go to a party in a couple of months? Do you want to go to this theme park? Do you want to go on holiday? Do you want to go to a party? You know, whatever it is, whether it's in the short term or even further into the future, and you will actually feel excited about it. Because anybody going through the grind right now will understand what I'm saying when I say that you are really living in that kind of minute-to-minute moment, okay? You're living in that moment and you're constantly obsessed about the breakup, about your ex, about how to try to get them back. You're thinking about the past as well, but you're certainly not thinking about the future. You're certainly not getting excited about the future because everything feels very bleak right now. But I can assure you that at some point, if you implement my version of a no contact rule, not only will one day you wake up feeling okay, but one day you will understand that there are future plans which actually excite you, okay? You'll be suggested something by a friend or family member, or maybe even yourself. Maybe you will see an advert for something and you think, you know what, I want to go there. I want to go to that event. I want to book that holiday. Maybe it will actually come from you, but quite often it comes from friends or family. They will invite you to something. And you'll kind of like go, okay, yeah, whatever. But for the first time since the breakup, you actually feel excited. For the first time in a long time, probably, you will actually be looking forward to something. And it doesn't involve your ex whatsoever. And sometimes you'll actually realize this and you'll start to dwell on it and you'll think, well, this is crazy. Like, you know, I don't remember the last time I felt excited about doing something in the future. And when it happens, it really is a magic moment and it's something to hold on to in your recovery. So now we're going to get into magic moment number 3 and the final point of today's podcast. And that is that your ex contacts you. And this is obviously the holy grail of magic moments. Now, I must say there is no 100% guaranteed way to get your ex back. And this won't happen to all of you. However, if you do everything right, then there is a fantastic opportunity that one day in the future, your ex will contact you. And it always comes out of the blue. You know, you don't get a warning. You don't get a passenger pigeon doesn't fly by and drop you a note saying, look, your ex is going to contact you one day in the future. That doesn't happen. You don't get a warning. It is always out of the blue. It's always a shock. Dumpies will always say, I didn't expect this. I thought it would never happen to me. I've read stories of it happening to other people, but not to me. It doesn't happen to me. It won't happen to me. Okay? But it does in most instances if you do everything right. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it will happen quickly. It could take days. That's unlikely. It could take weeks. That's also unlikely. More likely is that it will take months, and in some instances, it will take years. But ultimately, you know, you never know when the story ends. You never know whether there's just been the ending of a chapter between you and your ex, or whether the story has actually ended, and you don't know this. And hence, one day in the future, whether it's days, weeks, months, or even years, if you do everything right, you stand a great chance of your ex contacting you. And that is the most magic moment of them all. Because it has come out of nowhere, it's come out of the blue, you don't get a prior warning. It is a shock. No dumpy ever thinks it will happen to them. And if and when it happens to you, you will feel such relief. You will feel such a self-esteem boost. And you will understand that you did the right thing because you gave yourself a possibility of one day hearing from your ex again. Now, this is only the beginning of the story, even of that moment, because you then have to rebuild your connection. And that is only if you want to. Because lots of dumpies have gone through personal growth during this period apart, and some dumpies won't even want their ex back. Some dumpies would have met somebody even better. Some dumpies would have decided that they want to spend time as a single person living life in that way. But the important thing is it will be your choice. It will be your prerogative to decide what to do next. But if you do want to try to get your ex back, you need to make sure that you start to rebuild your connection the right way. Hearing from your ex is just that first step. But always remember these magic moments. If you're just starting no contact or whether you are a few months in, okay, look out for those magic moments. There is no set time for each moment. Moment 1, 2, and 3. They take different amounts of time. And as I said, point number 3, unfortunately, doesn't happen for every single person. But do the right things and you stand every chance of understanding, accepting and experiencing each of these 3 magic moments. So if you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent Bo, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. DateMe.tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back, or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent Bo got you. Finding love ain't no problem. Yeah, DateMe.tips, check it out now.